I've been riding him, but I'm still tentative with the canter transitions because I don't want, I know that I need to be thinking positive about them, but because of the history I've had with him,
stopping when you ask for canter.
I find it very difficult to not overthink it. Like that's my biggest challenge.
Yeah.
And yesterday I went out and rode him, and because when did I get back? Last week? Can't remember why it's taken me so long to actually do the canter.
Because we went to the Mount Dog last weekend.
Yeah, and then I was in Vancouver. Anyway, for whatever reason, yesterday I went to do the canter, and I got the canter both directions.
Good.
But he stopped after maybe 10 strides.
And you couldn't get it resuscitated.
I didn't want to go there because what I had done was I did a lot at walk, a fair amount at trot, and then I went to canter, and by that time I was quite tired. So I didn't want to start an argument that I couldn't see through. I wanted to keep it.
Good management.
I wanted to keep it as positive as I could.
Very good. It's very important, and I'm really glad you went and tried it, and you actually did get into canter in each direction. So very positive.
Well, and I was thinking about, gee, maybe I should just leave it at trot because, sometimes it's hard to manage the whole environment. Like my neighbor dropped by and, this and that interruption. And by the time I went to actually do the canter work, I thought, gee, maybe I should just leave it and tackle it tomorrow. But then I thought, no, I want to come to you with, if I have a problem, I want to come to you with a concrete problem. And if it's not a problem, then great, we can do something else, right? But
no, I think that sounds like a good plan. He looks just a little tight to me. Does he feel stiff?
He always feels, the problem I have, Shelley, is that he's the only full warm blood that I ride. And my two mares are crosses with thoroughbreds. And I've trained them both myself all the way up. I've had them from babies. So they always will feel different. And he has always felt to me to be stiff, or not stiff, but lacking in the desire to bend laterally as much as the mares. And I think for me, it's actually more brain than body, if that makes any sense.
How does he feel today?
Good. Wants to be distracted, but I think he's
We had a hard time getting him in the trailer, actually. He's very distracted by the horses next door. And he's got a new love. And he just did not want to get in.
It's a fine line between wanting to be very light with him, but then to have to take charge of him, say, stay down, stay here, stay focused, stay with me. To then just after that, be back to light and allowing him to stay there by himself. But he changes that in a split second from being buttery soft to be very strong. But I'm finding more and more the areas where I can anticipate him changing. So I make a point of getting him a little deeper, suppling while I still can, to then be soft at the time when he would want to look, so he enters that into a little bit more of a relaxed mind.
He started out looking a little tight in his
tight.
hind
He feels tight today in his hind leg.
He looks a little short behind, but not uneven, just a little tighter. And but he's warming out of it, so little by little the length of the spine is getting better.
I felt him more suspended or a little easier behind once before. Today's a little.
He might be a little muscle sore. He just has been started the jumping work, so he might just be feeling his body differently.
I don't feel like I'm going to have to do much because he feels nice and active.
Good.
So he doesn't feel, my big concern is that every time you ride him, you'll feel that he's deteriorated in between. But you don't feel that?
No, not at all.
Okay, good.
I mean, I was just saying to Shelley in the car, I'm like, I hope I'll be able to recreate what I had the last ride. And it's definitely right here. This nice gooey, chewy, Yes, he's behind the vertical right now, but if I let him come up more, he immediately looks at something, and then I have this really tense horse to work with. So, and he's a horse I find you can push on later and get the nose out again easily. So I'm not too worried about him being a little bit behind the vertical. And I have lots of opportunities to be very light in my hands. I mean, I do seek a contact at all times, but within that contact, I'm very light. Another way how I find he displays his nervousness and his tension is when he starts getting a bit too fast in the walk.
Yeah.
When I already in the walk feel the need to half follow him a little bit to bring him back to this. If I just let him walk on his own, he just kind of buckles over the knee and gets really quick. Boy. Good. I was just a brush back of my outside leg.
And you put him a little deeper beforehand, eh? And you're,
Still dealing with the bit neck tension and
Yeah.
just going for a little bit, just letting the neck muscles relax.
you see how she keeps suppling his top line down, Judy? She's thinking that, and then she's sending him forward there, and then you see that left rein, see how he's blocking and she's suppling? You see the fit in his mouth there? So she's, before he seizes up and then blocks himself, she's suppling his neck down over and over again. Again, you can see the left ring and then his mouth moving. See that? That's the block. And there she's gonna ride him forward through that, she's gonna bring him through that rein until he releases, and then she gave it, and there she gave, and then she tested him there again. And there she's sending a forward drive through. So she suppled him first, and then she sent a forward drive through the suppleness that she created. There he's blocking. There she suppled again. There she's suppling. Downward transition. So she's doing quite a bit of suppling to the left side, so she must be feeling a lot of braciness on the left. See what happens here on the right. Getting him always off the inside leg. So there's a lot of lateral suppling happening, you know. So making sure that the inside hind leg is active underneath that bend is what she's doing. Again, that was really easy, huh? That looked really easy.
No pressure at all.
So-
This neck placement, no big pressure.
What it looks like is you're having to supple him quite a lot. You're catching him and laterally suppling him before he's bracing, yeah?
Ooh.
If they keep the feet moving quickly enough, it's hard for them to buck.
Yeah.
Very awkward.
Good boy. It's all so much easier now.
Keeping making sure that he's not locking up in his neck all the time. Can you visualize yourself doing right now what Birta's doing? And can you, when you watch Birta, can you know in your own body and muscle memory what it feels like to be up there? Like what you see her doing right now, Judy, do you know what that feels like, and have you done that?
I think I can, but what I'm having trouble with is the fact that, you know, I see what a beautiful rider Berta is, and that if I can do it as well, that I can get out of the habit of being, of refining my aids to the point where I can feel the timing instead of feeling the negative history that I've had,
Yeah.
because that's what comes into my head.
So I think what you'll have to do is, rather than letting the negative play out, is you're gonna have to really focus on what you have, what your job is, like a race car driver. You know, you only have the luxury of thinking about the few things that you're gonna do, and if you focus on what you don't wanna have do, then you're actually creating that. So
Exactly.
you wanna really make sure that that's why I want visually for you to see what Berta's doing up there and imprint yourself visually on this. It's a loose, it's a relaxed
I don't
riding
think any
style.
legs run on afterwards.
She's
I mean,
just-
it's just me sitting here for me and thinking about it.
She's just cruising around and then she's keeping him supple. That's all she's doing. So the question is, when you're up there, are you keeping him supple enough? Like, are you intervening? It's kind of like stirring the pot. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? You have to just keep stirring that pot and making sure that he's not locking up anywhere. And frequent changes of direction, and she's always bending him over that inside hind leg that she's activating. You notice? You see how you can see the bits move in his mouth, and you know how much, by seeing how far the snap over is moving his mouth, you know how much weight is in her hand and how much she's taking and how much she's giving. And she's saying that she's not having to do very much with her leg at all, and it looks like it. So that's nice. But it definitely looks like he needs the riding orientation to be towards one of suppling more than anything else. That looks to me that that's the priority here. And so, like, you have to be free enough and loose enough in your body that you, rather than just being delighted that you're kind of staying quiet in the tack and that you're actually staying in canter, you've got to actually be doing quite a lot up there. You know what I mean? But it doesn't look like it's a big hard job. It looks like something that you have to be willing to keeping his neck unlocked. There's the stop. So that you know that that's there, right? That's the same thing that you would get. So there Berta said, come through the right rein. He said, no way. Okay, so she's like, I want you to just come through and be supple in the right rein. He says, I'd rather not. And think of it as I'd rather not. It's not really a no way, because he's so easily, you know, he's just stating a preference. A horse that says no way is not so easily talked back into doing it. There's a little blocking again. And so she's taking it onto a smaller circle so that she's turning him over his hind leg, so that he can't canter and fall off of his hind leg. He's having to turn over it all the time. And she's constantly keeping his neck soft, constantly having to work that. There's the right side with the give and a release, so that he always feels like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. That's the other thing, is that the aids are never on him in such a way that he feels blocked, or that he feels that there's no light at the end of the tunnel. He always has to feel that there's a very clear pathway forward for himself, that it's very obvious if he can release on this one spot, then he'll be through it. As opposed to feeling like there's a collection of 3 or 4 aids on him at the same time. Do you know what I mean? So Berta is very specific about, I just need you to give here. I just need you to release here. Just this one place you need to release, you'll be rewarded, and I'll give, and you'll be able to stretch. So he always has a feeling like it's a very simple, I just have to give her this one thing. As opposed to if he feels like a series of aids in combination on him, all at the same time, all potentially wanting something, that could cause him to say, you know, I don't really want to do that, because that's too hard, having to give you all these things. Whereas we're just saying, just give me just this one thing. And you may not even be intentionally conveying that message to him. He may be just reading that out of your body language. I don't know, we'll have to see. That looks nice. You know, and everybody's different. Like, some people are kinesthetic learners, they have to feel it. Other people are visual learners like me. I just have to see it. If I can see it, I can do it. And other people are auditory learners, they have to hear people talk about it. So, you know, I don't know what's best for you, but it's probably very helpful to see him and then just get on and mimic that. It's a matter of imitating that style and that approach and that, a lot of looseness.
Just testing for you. He's pretty much all good to go. Just
Okay.
testing.
So what I'm seeing though from the perspective of getting Judy on there is that you're making sure that he doesn't have any time to really brace the underside of his neck and lock up, eh?
Yeah.
And you're always making sure you're turning him over an inside hind leg that's active.
I'm making sure I can move the shoulders.
Outside shoulder, yeah.
Always outside shoulder. He's hollow on the right rein.
Yeah.
So he almost worries. That's what happened right there. And I said, I need that outside rein and turn you with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And he said, ah,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
But when he saw that I did my turn and the counter flexion where I said, this is your outside rein, and that moves your outside shoulder
Yeah.
around.
Get over it.
And then I started suppling on the inside rein to just get him back around my inner leg.
Yeah. Good.
Overall, much more understanding of the aids.
Good.
Not once did I have to push out my legs. I mean, I'm just like brushing my legs for anything
Super.
I want.
Okay, Judy, up and at him.